Hi, my name is Amy Sylvester. Welcome to our channel. We are The Wholehearted Life, and we talk about everything from just family life, faith, lots of adoption stuff. And I thought that I would share with you, we've moved a lot. We've moved a lot. I moved a lot before I even got married, and then we've moved a lot as a family, and some because of work things. And then if you don't know our story, our son Hudson had heart disease, and our precious boy that we miss so very much, we had to move to Philadelphia for him. So we've just done a lot of moving. I lived in New York City. I'm from North Carolina. We've moved in and out of North Carolina, Philadelphia. Now we're in the Chicago area. And even within those places, we moved a lot. So I thought it might be helpful to share some things I've learned along the way, moving with kids, moving cross country, and even local moves. I'm going to give you a few tips that hopefully they'll help you out. Okay, so tip number one. I have really learned this the hard way. And the crazy thing is, we moved recently. We sold our house and we've moved into a condo. And I'll go into more of why we're downsizing for this season. But we are. So we're downsizing. And I'm like, I know better, and I still did this. So don't follow my example, follow my advice. When you have an enormous box, don't fill it to the brim with really heavy stuff. Like, use a big, huge box for things that are like more lightweight, blankets, coats, sheets. Don't fill it full of dishes. And one of the boxes was so heavy. It was my fault. I was cleaning out the pantry stuff. You know, canned goods get heavy so quickly. And I was like, oh, I think I can fit all of this in here. Well, I could fit it, but oh my gosh, that box was way too heavy for anybody to lift without injury. So if you have an enormous box, think through like lighter things and put them in there, and then put your heavier things in smaller boxes. Yes, you'll have more boxes, but you'll be able to manage it much better. Your movers will thank you if you have movers, or your back will thank you otherwise. So that's my first tip. Big boxes for lighter things, small boxes for heavier things. More small boxes for the heavier things than just trying to get it all into one huge box that is too heavy. So that's my first tip. Tip number two is, instead of spending like loads of money on like bubble wrap and the like things that you need to wrap all your breakables, like dishes and glasses, and even some like trinket decoration things around your house. This is the first move I did this for, but it actually worked really effectively. I already had lots of towels that needed to go with this, and I already had washcloths and microfiber things that we clean with. And I'm like, oh gosh, like they've got to go to the new place too, so why not just wrap? And so I just put microfiber towels in between my dishes, my dish plates. And I did already have some bubble wrap in the garage. I did use some of that, but it did save us a little bit of money. And again, like even it probably saved us some space, because I just would have put the towels and the washcloths in another box. Instead, it just kind of went with the dishes and some of the breakable things. And I will be honest, nothing broke. Like I was a little bit nervous doing it differently this time, but I wrapped things very well. And you know, I have lots of baby clothes from our littlest one. So I used some of his stuff, and like we had some puffy coats and things because we're in the Chicago area. And I was like, this is perfect to protect this face or whatever. So just a thought. And again, we moved locally this time. You know, I've not tried that exact method for a long distance move, but I think it did great. I didn't have anything chip or break using our already soft items to protect our breakable items. So that's my tip number two. One trick I wanted to show you, I actually stole this from another YouTuber, but you've got to get your cloths and like I just pulled out all of these, you know, these microfiber things and kitchen towels and even my bath, you know, washcloths or whatever. You've got to get them to your next location too. And I did buy some bubble wrap, but oh, it just popped. I used to love these when I was a kid. But if one thing that could kind of save you a little bit of money is, and even maybe some effort of having to get to the store and stuff, was just wrapping. Like this is our wedding dishes, and you know, I definitely want to protect these. And so wrapping those in this kind of stuff is protective just as much as like this. At least that has been my experience. And so that's what I did with some of my breakables, and it turned out fine. Nothing's broken so far. So just a little tip that, I mean, wrap it. Like I use sweaters and scarves and baby clothes. I mean, I've used all kinds of stuff in our move this time, and it has saved me trips to go buy lots of moving supplies. So just one little tip there. Tip 3, oh my gosh, get childcare. I know I'm saying that, and then like we couldn't get childcare. So we did a lot of moving, packing, and preparing for the move while my husband was at work. I was doing some of that stuff, and we had the kids the whole time. And we also, I will say, this is happening in the midst of semi-quarantine. We've been quarantined and it's lightening up some. And so it's not as easy to interact with people. And so I will say I finally got my act together, and the day of the actual move, I did have a friend take our older son, Graham, who is 6, and they had a great time together and played outside, and it was safe and everything. And so, and he had a much better day than basically being ignored while it's, you know, moves are not easy. They're stressful. So if you can think through some of that stuff. Now, we did have our 1-year-old, and so it was kind of tag teaming with my husband, like, where's he going to be? We left a pack and play out so he could be in that if we needed to run around or whatever. And then he did take some naps, so that helped. But I wish I would have thought through it a little bit more, even more so, and for the day of the move. Now, it would have been nice leading up to the move to have childcare as well, just so that I could focus on the move, because I really was fitting it in around what the kids' needs were. So, and we don't live near family or anything. So if you can get help, ask for the help. Just ask for it. If you're moving as a family and you have children, that would be my best suggestion. I do better. Like if I could have just had 2 days to pack the house, I probably would have done better than trying to pack for 2 weeks around homeschooling and kids and stuff like that. So we didn't really have the option, but if you do have the option, take the childcare. Sometimes when you're packing and cleaning and moving, you have to do creative things with the little ones. You saying hi, buddy? Yeah. Sometimes the high chair has to come in handy for a minute, just so you can get this woofering done. Do what you gotta do to figure it out. Hi, buddy. Hi, silly. Are you helping Mama pack? Okay, okay. I love you. I love you. You're a very good helper when it comes to packing. Really, you're better at unpacking. Yeah. Love you. All right, tip number 4 for your move. This goes for whether this is a local move or a move out of state or whatever. My suggestion is to think through an open first box, or maybe open first boxes and load those last. Maybe they even go in your car. Or you could even pack, like, I need enough stuff for 5 days. I'm going on a 5-day trip or whatever. And I would do that for each family member, because the reality is like, you think, I'll get there and I'll get set up. But those first few days, it's like, where's the pots and pans? Oh gosh, yeah, I need diapers, and I need a change of clothes, and I need my toiletries. So if you can think through, what am I going to need? Almost like I'm going on a trip, and pack that in a separate box or suitcase or something like that, so that when you get to wherever you're going, you have sheets and towels and shampoo and underwear, so that you're not digging when it's 10 o'clock at night. Finally, the other house is cleaned out and you're at your new location. And again, this goes for local or like a bigger cross-country move. Have those open first boxes marked so that you know exactly where your stuff is, or a suitcase, so that you're not stuck, exhausted, stressed, and you can't even find the sheets to put on your bed. That is the worst. So you just think through an open first box or a suitcase with stuff for everyone to do you about a day or so. Because within 2 or 3 days, you'll start finding your stuff. May not be where you want it, but you'll at least be able to find it. But that first night, second night, oh my gosh, isn't it so nice just to be able to make your bed and go to bed rather than opening 10 boxes looking for a towel to take a shower after a sweaty move. So that is my suggestion, is have open first boxes or a suitcase. That's tip number 4. Okay, tip number 5. Lower your expectations. I feel terrible saying that, right? We should always have high expectations for ourselves. But I can be a perfectionist and I can want things to go a certain way. And the reality is moves it's one of the most stressful things, it's just everything's up and you kind of live in upheaval for a while too, because you start packing and then you have your move date and then you're unpacking. And so it can really feel like weeks and weeks, even a month of just disorder. And I don't thrive in that environment. And I don't think very many people do thrive with chaos. So just lower your expectations in terms of how it's going to go, set some things you really hope will happen, and have a plan, but it's probably going to take longer than you want. It might cost more than you want it to. You're going to miscommunicate with your spouse or whoever you're moving with. Like it's just, I don't know. It just is stressful for all the reasons that, I just said, all the chaos of it, even with a really clear plan and communication. Even for things like my son, our older son, was on media more. Like he was on his tablet more than we normally would for those first, like the week before and the week after. It just was like and plus too, I wanted to get settled because we were traveling out to see family, which we're visiting my in-laws right now. And so, it just is what it is. Like I was feeling terrible that our son was like, spending more time, with YouTube than his own parents. But again, it was a very short time frame and our lives don't go like that normally. And so that's just like, just lower my expectations. We ate more fast food, stuff like that I would is not part of our everyday routine. But, we had some Chick-fil-A and we had it probably more days than we normally would, but we're in the middle of a move. So lower your expectations in terms of like your normal hopes for your family and just take the pressure off. Tip number 6, don't go it alone. And the reason I say that is because I can tend to it's all my stuff. I want to pack it. I want to do it the way I want to do it. But honestly, I've done it several ways. I've done it with help. I've done it alone. And it just goes way better if you have help. And you may not have that as an option. And I totally get that. Again, we moved in the midst of COVID away from family. And I could have asked for more help than I did from church friends and our community. And so I should have asked more help with my kids, or even like have a little packing party with a friend or two that it was, in a safe way. And I just didn't do it. And so my encouragement to you is whether it's you say we're going to sacrifice our budget and get movers, or we're going to ask for help from our community or friends or family. It is really tough on a family to try to move an entire household alone. It's tough on anyone. So my suggestion is don't do it alone and think ahead, provide some pizza and ask some friends for help, or figure out your budget ahead of time and get movers. That's my suggestion. Okay, tip number 7 is to put trash bags over your clothes. That might sound a little crazy. I'm going to try to show you a clip of what I meant by that. It's just literally, instead of taking and this is more helpful probably for a local move. You might not want to do this on a moving truck. I don't know. I've not tried it for a moving truck kind of move. I did it for like, this is going to go in my trunk and I'm going to drive it over to my new location because it's local. But you literally take a set of clothes out of your closet, pull a trash bag over it, tie it at the top, put it in your car, drive it, and literally take the trash bag off and stick it in your closet. And honestly, it is so helpful to not have to like take all that off, pack it, take it over there, put it back on hangers and hang it up. It's just a much quicker way to do it. So again, I think I have a clip of us doing that on our moving day. Who knows what it'll look like, but hopefully I can include that here as just an example, a video, a clip, so you can see what I mean by using the trash bag over your hanging clothes. Okay, so I wanted to quickly show you one more like quick moving little tip thing, and pardon me right now. We've been packing and moving for days. So let me see if I'm new to this apartment. Oh, there is a light. Okay, good. So this is something, I think this works well if you're doing like a short move, like you're literally taking your clothes or coats or whatever from one closet, you're driving them quickly and putting them into another closet, and you don't want to get one of those closet boxes. Those can be quite expensive and add up over time, and they take up a lot of space too on a moving truck. So I just threw this stuff in the back of my car, and I'll show you how I bagged it. So you just got like a trash bag here, and you just poke a hole in the top and group your, like this is just like, you know, a fleece and a couple of jackets, and it keeps it together rather than getting all tangled up in your car. So hopefully that filmed okay. But just wanted to show, like, and it can, if you tuck it nicely, can keep it clean. But I just put it in the back of my car so it wasn't going on a moving truck or anything. And I think it, you know, held up well. And like, let me see if I can show you these others in here. Yeah, so like this one, and I will say I actually prefer to do it like this, where the full bag actually covers it, and it actually doesn't ruin the trash bag. And so you can just loop the straps over your thing, and then like this one, this bag's now ruined because I did it like this, but I couldn't get it the other way. So just two ways you could do it, and I just have these groupings of my clothes, and I didn't have to fold them, put them in boxes, or get those you know, hanging. I've done that before, where you get the boxes. I did that when I lived in New York City. I got the boxes and hung my clothes in there, and it does work nicely, but again, it takes up a lot of space on your moving truck, and they are costly. So just a quick little thing that I think works if you're going just closet to closet. I don't know how it's going to hold up if you throw them on a moving truck across the country. I have not done that. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Number 8 is to use your car for your most important files or breakables that are like keepsakes that you like. I can't replace this at Home Goods or Target. This is something for my grandmother or whatever. It's not just like, oh, I'd be sad if that broke, but no, like this is like a family thing, or some files that you wouldn't necessarily want to get lost in a moving truck. And that's really important, I think, too. You're not just like, we moved from the same town from our house to our condo this time. There's a little less of a chance of things getting lost in those few miles than if it's going across, like we've moved from North Carolina to Chicago. We moved to Philly. You know, those are bigger moves for us. And I moved from New York to North Carolina before I got married. Those are bigger, and so so I just want to say, like, just make sure that your files are protected. But what I ended up doing, instead of taking them all, we have a miniature like little filing cabinet. I just locked the key and kept the key with me, and they went on the truck. Now, granted, something could have happened, I guess, in those few miles from house to condo. I don't know what I would have done actually if we were moving cross country with those same files, because all our taxes and all that, birth certificates and stuff. And so I may actually try, when we do move to North Carolina, fit that in our actual vehicle that I'm in, because that stuff, so it's replaceable, but isn't it tough to replace it? So I don't want to have to go figure out birth certificates for our whole family. So that's my tip, is to use your car maybe for an overnight bag or 2-night bag, and then also for those things that just, if they go missing, it just kind of makes my life miserable. Okay, tip number 9, to have someone in each location. So the house or home you're moving out of into where you're moving to. So like what my husband and I did is he went back and forth now this is for a local move, but he went back and forth with the movers. Like they would load, go over, he would be there, unload, and I would stay at the house for any, like if they came back before him, or he might have to stay over there, just so that both of us, there was somebody at each location who kind of knew the deal, who knew what was going on. So my suggestion, even if it's like, let's say you're single, and I know, which I moved many, many times as a single person, have a friend and say, here's the deal. Like, this is kind of what you need to know for the move. Have them at one location and you at the other. And for you may actually want to be at the new location because you know where stuff's going to go. Loading is a little more straightforward. And that really helped us this time to have that where somebody was at each location. So I hope that's helpful. And again, like if you're on your own doing this, and again, I moved so many times alone, you just have to be a little bit brave, stick your neck out there and ask a friend to help you out for a day. You know, no one likes moving, you know, no one wants to like have to ask their friends for help, but sometimes you just need help. Stick your neck out, ask for help, take them to lunch, buy them a coffee, and thank them, and help them when they move, and you'll just pay them back. All right, and number 10 is to, when you're packing up your home, is to try as much as possible, which I am terrible at doing this, I have to be very disciplined, to pack one room at a time, because I tend to like pack a little bit in this room, a little bit in this room, a little bit in this room, and then your whole house is chaos for weeks. But if you try to pack now again, you're using your bed, you're using your toiletries, your kids are still need some toys out or whatever. But what you can pack, I would say try to pack everything in the room that can be packed and kind of almost like finish that room as much as possible before you move to the next room. And I started in our baby's room and basically left out clothes and stuff for him, but a lot of the stuff in his room we weren't using on a daily basis. So I started in his room, and I will say towards the end it got out of hand, and I felt like every room was being packed. So I didn't even listen to my own advice, and it caused more stress for me. So hopefully I will learn my lesson and take this advice that I've learned from other friends who have moved, and even in my own moves. I do better if I can like close out a room, move to the next one. And you can clean it that way, and it just makes it so much easier. And honestly, it can help with unpacking as well, because then you don't have all these boxes that turn into miscellaneous boxes. So those are my 10 tips, and I hope they're helpful. I have probably more because I have moved more times than any human being should have moved. And our prayer, honestly, for this next season is that we're in this condo, and then for as far as we can see, we're going to land somewhere and stay there for hopefully a really, really, really long time. So I'm jealous of all you folks who don't have to move very much, but between work and our son's care and a few things, we've had to move a lot. So I hope this is helpful. If you'd like more tips on moving, or you have a tip, I would love to see them, because again, we're not done with the moving process. We're going to be in this condo for a year and a half. We're not sure, while we plan for our move to North Carolina. And we would love any tips that have helped you in your move, and whoever's watching this video may need more than my 10. So please share your tips for moving below. And if I missed something and you want me to share about it, please ask anything. I'm pretty open. So I'm hoping to share whatever you would like to hear about. Come back for more videos about our family and about adoption. And we are just so thankful for the Wholehearted Life in this channel. And we hope that you will come back. Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe below.